Hello, Howard Baxton here, and in this video we're going to start going through the instruction set 4 to set up singles note cards such that single sitters can um, change their pose without changing everyone else in the seats, in all the seats. Only their pose changes. So real quickly, there's two ways to go about this. One, we could build a note card for each sitter for each pose. Um, and that would work and we could deal with that. We would have to use some permissions in the note card names to limit who can see each of the buttons. So if we had 4 sitters and we wanted to give them 4 different poses to select, that would be 16 note cards plus 16 menu buttons with button permissions to limit who accesses or sees those note cards. That's a little extreme and not a recommended way of doing things, but it's possible to do. The second option we have here is to narrow down that long list and make a note card with each seat using the same pose, and doing a little magic and putting some permissions on each of the lines to determine which of those lines would run and which ones will not. That narrows it down from 16 note cards to 4 note cards, which is a very nice thing to be able to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on this second step, or second option of only making 4 note cards. Step 1 says we want to res the couch above. So let me res the couch above. It says edit the couch. And open the set stories card in contents. So if we open this set stories card, it looks like this. And we've got the storyteller and everybody's doing a listen right to look at him. So seat 1 would be on the far right side of the couch as you're seating. Seat 2 would be wherever it's at and all the way across, right? Everybody's looking to the right to see the storyteller. So let me minimize that for a moment and go down here. It says create a new card in your inventory and name it set storyteller. So let me copy that name. Copy. Down here in our working folder, we will add a new note card. And I think SL works. Let me try that one more time. Maybe I did something different. There it is. And then, oh, now it comes. Now I have 2 of them. Let's just go ahead and paste the name in here, and we can get rid of this one. Okay, so now we have the storyteller note card here, and we have set stories in here, which is there. The next thing it says to do is copy the lines from inside. It says this card, but we want to copy them from the set stories card and paste them into set storyteller card. Okay, so we have set stories. There. I'll change that line and save it real quick so that I don't get confused next time. So we want to copy these lines and paste them into this note card. Okay, so let me minimize that card. And then we'll go back up here and see what our next instruction is. Now change the lines such that all seats are running the nPose storyteller animation. So if we copy this and go into our storyteller and paste it here, paste it here, and paste it here, we're done. Save and close this card in inventory and add it to the couch contents. So let me save and close it. That's saved and closed. And now we can add it. So we have our storyteller here. Okay, what's next? Step 2. Click the couch for menu. Click the storyteller menu button. Boy, things are slow today. They just don't want to work. Storyteller button. Now in the menu, go to Utilities, Admin, and Adjust. Utilities, Admin, and Adjust. We see that all of our sitters except for one, there must be something wrong in this third seat, because it looks to me like there's an extra T in nPose storyteller. I see it in the name right there. So let's go look at this note card. There is. Now I don't know how I got it there, but I did. So let's go ahead and save that card and see what happens. Ah, there we go. Okay, so next in our note card, it says adjust all seats to suit. And if we look at all these seats, it looks to me like we're in pretty good shape. So we can ignore that. It says when all seats are adjusted properly, click the pose dump. We could do that. I have to touch for a new menu. Utilities, admin, pose dump, and you see it'll dump all of the seats, and we'll have each line for all the seats. Seat number 4, seat number 3, seat number 2, blah, 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 all the way up. Okay, and it says copy those lines in local and then save these changes to the card. Since we're all looking good, we don't need to do any of that, so we'll move on to step number 3. This is an nPose. In nPose, we can add a permission to the exam line, and below is showing how to do this. Each number following the exam line keyword means the seat number in the curly brackets. So if a person in seat is sitter 1 in seat 1, that person will only have permissions to make exam bracket seat 1 bracket to work, similar to this. It says see the reference in line permissions. We can do that real quick. That's not what I want to see. Oh, that's here. Okay. So if we go to HTTPS, line permissions, copy this. paste it here. We can go there, and we have the read out of line permissions. Um, you can read through this if you want. Basically, we have three operators. We have a logical not, we have a logical and we have a logical or. Each are based upon this little item here. We're not going to use any of those at this point, but it goes through and tells you this. And we can use owner, we can use group, we can use seated, we can use any integer, which we're going to do. And if we're going to use any integer, it counts as a seat number. It returns true if the menu user sits on the seat with the number seat number. Okay. And it goes, and this is the one we're actually going to be using here. And you can see there's some more in here as well, and even some examples. Okay, so what it's asking us to do is edit line of seat 1 and add the line permission by changing the exanem to exanem 1. So if we open up our note card, teller storytellers, and we copy this and paste it in place of exanem, it's going to look exactly like that. And if we go down the note card, it tells us to do each one of these, however, to the corresponding seat. Oop, 4. Okay, and we can save that. Now, what's going to happen here? As we read in line permissions, if we have an integer in there, this line will only run if the menu user is in seat 1. This line will only run if the menu user is in seat 2, the person who clicked that menu, and so on for 3 and 4. So typically basically only one of these lines is going to run for every menu click of this pose card. So we'll forget about our button permissions, and we'll leave the storyteller button open for each seat. Now the way I did this is we put together the exanem line alone without that button permission, mainly so every one of these seats would change poses and we could adjust each and every one of them. Then we came back through and we added this line permission such that now only the menu user's seat will change. So in other words, we have to be seated in order to click this button to do anything. Let's move this back to the default card. Everybody's in the pose. And we click that. We see no seats changed because I, being the menu user, am not seated in any one of those seats. In fact, I'm standing. So if I were to sit here, it will put me in seat 1, and then I can click the storyteller card, and I'm going to tell my story. No one else changes their pose, only I do because I'm the menu user. Now, if I were to go and change seats, for instance, let me go to seat 3. I'm still in the sync pose, or I'm still in the meditation pose because of the default card. And actually, if we look at our floating text, you see that seat 1 is running the storyteller card and is running this pose. However, all of the others are still in the default card and they're all still running the meditation. So now what if I'm in seat 3 and click storyteller? Now you see seat 3 changes to storyteller and leaving the other two in meditation. Pretty cool. Now step 4 says create a new postcard in inventory and call it Sad Listen Left. So if we create a new card, new note card, and paste that name in there, then it says paste the lines copied into the contents of this card. So I'm assuming it's set stories. I don't know, but we'll call it that. It doesn't matter. Any one of those cards now will work, except for the default. So I'll copy these lines, paste them in here, and now what's the instructions say? The instructions are going to say, change all the lines to run nPose, listen left. So let me copy this and paste it into each one of these lines. Paste, paste, paste. I was trying to get fancy and try something new, but it didn't work. Paste. Now we got listen left in all of those. And we should be good to go. So let's save that. And see what's it say. Save and close and add it to the couch. Save. I don't know why I had to save listen left, but I did. What? What did I change? Oh, I changed the storyteller. Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to get fancy here. And listen left needs to look like this. I got really confused. Okay, so now this is our listen left. Okay, and storyteller should look like this. Where's my storyteller? Here's my storyteller in here. Let's make sure that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. So we'll just copy those into here. Now we're all set. I'm back on track. Okay. Uh-oh, what happened here? Storyteller T. Did I do that again? Yes, I did. Do you see the T in the name? You see the T here in the name? Storyteller T. Let me fix that. Okay. Now we can get rid of our error. So if we run the default card, we're good. If we run the stories card, we're good. If we run storyteller card, I'm in seat 3. Storyteller should run. Did I put listen left in there yet? No, there we go. Now it's in listen left. Let me renew my menu. Now I have the listen left, and I can listen left. And it's a purely singles because everybody else is in storyteller, but I'm in listen left. Okay, that's all good and well. Now it says repeat step 4 by creating a note card named listen right and use nPose listen right for all the animation names. And 6 is for listen forward. So I'm going to zoom through this really quick and get them all set up and added. So let me add a new card, name it this. I'm just going to copy these in here. And change this to right. And we should be good for right. I can add that in. Now I'm going to copy these again because we're going to add another note card named, listen forward, and then paste all of those in. Save it. And I've got storyteller, listen right, listen left. So I need listen forward. Okay, so I'm going to get really fancy here. Let's change seats to seat 4. And he's a storyteller. So let's just change him to listen left. No, listen right. Change seats. Seat 2. Have him listen forward. So we've got seat run, running storyteller, which is using the storyteller, nPose storyteller pose. Seat 2 is listen forward. Uh-oh. That didn't look right, did it? What did I put in listen forward? Ah. We should be listen forward. My bad. Now you see why it takes me so long to build. I don't build commercially. Okay, now we've got every seat running a different note card and a different pose. Very good stuff. That's where I was trying to get to. What happened to my instructions note card? Okay, so after that, here's a little discussion. So now, if you click the default card menu button, all seats are going to change. Let's try that. Default card, everybody changes. That may not be what we want. The default card is pretty much a requirement for all these builds. We have to have it. We need it to complete the seat information, and the default card does this for us. For singles, we probably do not want to have this happen by clicking that note card and changing this to the default, because we're infringing on all of our other singles. We have a way of removing that default card from the menu, but still have it do its work as needed to do just now by the menu. So basically what step 7 is saying to do is to rename this set default card to simply default. So let me do that. Right click and rename and paste that default in there. Okay. Second, it says edit the init card and change default card set default to the following. So let me copy this and paste it in here so that, oh, come on, that didn't work. I'm so clumsy. Again, you see why I don't build much. Paste it right in there. Oops, the whole line. Paste it. There we go. Since we added the init card, you saw everybody move. We crawled down into the center because it ran this line, and then nPose has the instructions to point to the right default card, and it did so. Now it says go ahead and delete that set stories card, because if it'll do the same thing. Test that everything is working as described. Oh, step 9, here's a little more. My personal preference is to return the couch to its default state once everyone stands up. Make it ready for the next time someone comes to sit. We can do this very easily. Okay, step 9 here says edit the .init card one more time. Add the following line to the note card. And it says option with a pipe and then to default equal on. And then it says save and close. Let's try that. Actually, I want to copy this line and put it in here somewhere. That's okay. There it is. And the order doesn't really matter because everything in this note card is going to be run before it moves on to the default card. So that will get set. I think there's a link in references to options. Yes, there is. Global options. And it gives you an idea of what goes on there. Okay, let me go ahead and save this card with our new line in it. Let me sit down, and I'm in seat 1. So if I, for example, change this to storyteller, so I'm going to run the storyteller. And if I stand, the animesh should be doing storyteller, correct? No, actually it changes to the default card and meditation runs. Remember, the default card, everyone changes. So since these guys were already in the default card, they stayed there. If they were in any other card, they would change to the default. So there you have it, and that should take care of singles. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.